Okay, we're going to recognize functions. Let's look at the definition here. A function is a relation in which each element in the domain corresponds to exactly one element in the range. So what do you mean by range and domain? The domain would be the values of the x. The range would be the value of y. When you refer to the domain, you can see here, these are the values that we set up for the domain or x, and we are mapping that to the values that goes to the range. So these are the name of the people, this is their age. So if Tom is 21 years old, we are mapping Tom from the domain, which is our x-axis, into the range, which is 21 years old, and Bob is 22 years old, and here Mark is 25, Bill is 20. You notice that none of these numbers are the same. However, this one here, Tom is 21 years old, and we have another Tom that is 22. Bob is mapped to 22. Mark mapped to 25. Bill mapped to 20. So if you look at the graph of the function, there is a test called vertical line test. If I draw a vertical line like that, if I grab this vertical line and then run it through my graph, this is a linear equation. If this vertical line intercepts my graph at one point only at all time, then that graph that you're looking at would be a function. However, this is also the function too, right? The parabola is a function because this vertical line intercept this parabola at one point and one point only at all time. However, if I look at this shape, what is the shape of, is a circle is a function? No, because if I grab my vertical line, that vertical line intercepts this graph at more than one point. In this case, 2 points. I'm gonna draw a parabola, but I'm gonna make instead of a vertical parabola here, I'm gonna make it a horizontal parabola. Like that. Is horizontal parabola is a function? It's not, right? Because it's intercept at more than one point. Now, if the graph is presented to you, if the graph is right in front of you, this would be a very easy test. But sometimes they don't give you the graph. They give you a bunch of order pairs and they ask you, are these order pairs represent a function? Let's see what happens when you don't have a function. I'm gonna look for some of the order pairs here. This right here. I'm going to look at the concentrate on this graph here. If I want to line up some of the order pairs here, I'm going to call this 0. I'm going to call this 1. And this point here, -1. Okay, and this is 1. And of course, they're going to more than 3 points. My graph going to passes through. But just looking at this 3 order pair should indicate to me that this is not a function, even if I didn't know the graph. Because if we look at these order pairs, when x equal to 1, y is equal to 1. When x equal to 1 again, y is equal to -1. Just like this scenario here, you see? Tom maps to 2 different numbers here. You cannot map from your domain, which is your x, to different number in range, which is your y. So if I have a bunch of order pairs sitting right in front of me, without looking at the graph, nobody show me any graph, and somebody asks you, are these order pairs represent a function? That's all you look for, is you want to make sure that the first number on all these order pair doesn't repeat. If it does, it means we're looking at 2 points right on top of each other, and that violates the vertical test. So if you look at this example here now, we want to know whether these order pairs represent a function or not. With what we just talked about right now, if I look at this point here and this point here, these 2 points would be right on top of each other, right? On whatever graph that is. And then if I draw a vertical line through it, it's going to violate the vertical test, so it's not a function. So is this a function? Yeah, well, I'm looking at 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it is a function. So once again, vertical test, if I draw a vertical line through hyperbola, what's the graph of this? Absolute value of x. Okay, but regardless of what it's called right now, I want to know whether it's a function or not. Function, is this a function? Absolute value is a function. Hyperbola, it's not a function because it looks like a horizontal parabola. So that's how you can find whether it's a function or not, if you have a graph or you have order pairs.